Well, I don't agree at all. First off, how is it possible that anybody with any kind of sanity would consider the United States or Britain or the West in general to be in any kind of position to be punishing anyone for any illegalities? If we want to take a look at Iraq, there is at least 1 million, probably even close to 2 million dead. We invaded that country, destroyed it, created millions of orphans, millions of refugees, and never even so much as apologized for that. Let's go back to Vietnam, where we dropped 20 million bombs, more than all of World War II combined. We have destroyed so many countries. We have tortured and killed and maimed and raped around this planet. Who in the hell in their right mind would consider the United States or the West in general to be in any position to punish anybody? Never mind the obvious facts that this is a false flag attack. Iraq is a perfect example of that. Why isn't Tony Blair and George Bush rotting away in a prison cell for the rest of their lives? Because the law is not being applied. These are war criminals and they should be in prison for the rest of their lives, if not executed, if their own rules were adhered to for their own crimes. Not only that, but we need to really understand the truth here. First off, all of these players, these politicians, are nothing more than puppets. They don't serve the people. There is no real democracy. They really serve the rich and powerful who run the world, and that would be the bankers who control the money supply. The bankers, of course, make huge amounts of money. Whether they make bad investments or not, wars are great for them, and ultimately they control the politicians, and that is why we see these policies. Obama and Cameron are nothing more than puppets who read the script, and the script is we need another war. And the reason why we need another war, according to these psychopaths who are running the world, is because more and more people, despite the clueless masses who continue to be entranced by things so ridiculous as X Factor and American Idol, there is larger numbers of people around the world who are realizing the truth and beginning to recapture the capacity to think for themselves. And they can see that these people who are being put in positions of public trust are defying that trust and representing an agenda which they could never speak about openly because they're nothing more than prostitutes and nothing more than minions for the powers that be.
They're using one instrument above all others to actually affect their control. Money. Money. It's that simple. Money makes the world go round. And what we have is a tiny group of individuals who literally control the vast majority of currencies around the world. They effectively own the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve Bank, all the major central banks. They own. There's a tiny clique. We don't even know who the shareholders of the private Federal Reserve Bank are, but we do. We do. But we don't officially know. Because if we knew who the shareholders were, we'd know who's profited by the interest that we pay, which is totally unnecessary, on every single dollar that has come into circulation. A group of private shareholders is getting the money for that. A tiny group of people, who knows, a few board members, is actually earning the interest off the money that we have allowed our treasonous government to authorize to a bunch of traders who print the money. They use money. And they have an infinite supply of money. Think about that seriously. Infinite. Infinite. There are so many subjects that we don't have any real dialogue about, and isn't that where we should be discussing things? Isn't it those most uncomfortable areas that we should be looking at? Isn't that really the mark of a genuine critical thinker, someone who really wants to grow as a human being, morally, spiritually? It's the uncomfortable areas that are the most important. And these gatherings oftentimes are just like preaching to the choir. And everybody patting themselves on the back about how, oh boy, aren't you progressive? And wow, isn't he just so liberal and left and righteous and all this kind of stuff. And I just don't understand that, because you know what, I've got 2 little boys as well. And before I was a father, I had a problem with this, but how can we look at ourselves in the mirror and genuinely have any respect for what we see looking back at us if we're handing this world over to our children just in the current state, much less something worse than it is now? We are all brothers and sisters in a family of life. We all have a common fate. We live on planet Earth. You know, what's good for the Earth is good for us. What's bad for the Earth is bad for us. There's just no way to break that, you know. The first element of becoming a world citizen is, in this case, I'm a man. You know, you may be a woman, but I'm a man. and I affirm my natural rights. I have the right to live my life with dignity. I have the right to travel. I have the right to freedom of expression. Hell, I've got the right to clean drinking water. I have the right to be a human being without oppressive forces compelling me to be something that I'm not. This is my natural right, and I'm going to affirm that in writing. That's number one. Anybody object to that? The state will, I'll tell you that fucking much. They're going to object to that. Number two, I, as a world citizen, in writing, obligate myself to respect everyone else's natural rights. I don't want it done to me, so I'm not going to do it to you. It's the golden rule. It's the most simple thing ever. If you don't understand this rule, something's wrong with you. This is such a basic thing. And it bypasses the state. So, I affirm my natural rights and I obligate myself to respect for everyone else's natural rights. And the third thing, I come from planet Earth. They call this place the United States now, but after we're gone, it'll be fucking what it is, planet Earth. We come from planet Earth. And what's good for planet Earth is good for us. Shitting on planet Earth is not good for us. It causes us problems. We should be treating planet Earth like we should be treating our mother, with love and respect.